Well, hello there, ladies and gentlemen. This is Scott Manning coming to you live from Scott Manning YouTube Sports Talk. It is now time for the college basketball wrap-up show. What a crazy, excuse me, what a crazy Saturday it was in college basketball. Two huge upsets today within the top 10. We almost had a third upset today, and I'll get to that here in a while. But you know, Kentucky and Auburn, they had a classic game today. They had a classic game tonight. Duke, Virginia, same thing. I'm going to unravel all that in the next half hour or so. But I'm going to tell you, this was one of the most crazy Saturdays I have seen in many, many years. And I've said every Saturday is crazy, but this is the craziest one of them all. And then the bottom line is, there's going to be some major, major changes to the top 10 when the polls come out. We had two teams left undefeated in the country. We now have none. I will unravel all that here in the next half hour or so. But right now, we got a lot to get to, so I'm just going to go ahead and just jump right into it. Let's start it off with the upset of the day, in the eyes of many. West Virginia takes down number 7 Kansas for their first win of Big 12 play this season. My congratulations to Bob Huggins and the Mountaineers. How did they do it? Let's see. Jermaine Haley, 13 points, 5 rebounds, 2 assists. James Bolden, 12 points, 2 assists. Derek Culver, 11.7 rebounds, 3 assists. Excuse me. Now you're thinking, those numbers weren't impressive. But I'll get to the team numbers here in a minute. Deidre Clausen, 15 points, 11 rebounds, a double-double for him in a losing effort. Marcus Garrett, 15 points, 2 rebounds, 2 assists. LaGerald Vick, 13 points, 3 rebounds, that was it. Now, how in the world did West Virginia pull off the upset? Let's think about this for a minute. West Virginia, 25 of 54 from the field. That's 46.3%. They may have only shot 5 of 14 for three-point land for 35.7%, but they were 10 of 14 at the free throw line. That may only be 71.4%. Now, I'll grant you, Kansas did out-rebound West Virginia today, 34-28. But West Virginia out-assisted them 12-6. But the biggest stat that stuck out for me was 18 turnovers by Kansas and a game-winning bucket and a game-winning basket with 8.5 seconds left by West Virginia gave them the victory today. But for Kansas, think about this. 24-55 from the field, 43.6%. That is very good. And Bill Self was not very pleased about anything at all after the game. Kansas, from three-point land, 5 of 16, 31.3%. Excuse me, okay. All right. Now, from the free throw line, Kansas was fantastic, 11 of 13, 84.6%. But the 18 turnovers cost them dearly in the end. It was a turnover and a basket at the end that gave West Virginia the victory. West Virginia coach Bob Huggins said, "I'm very proud of this team. We did what we had to do. We knocked off the top dog in the Big 12, and we got the job done. That's all that matters right now. We got to get ready for the next game. Thank you." That's basically all he had to say. Kansas coach Bill Self was not very happy with the performance of his team at all. He said after the game, "We could have done a lot better." And that's all I can say. Well, here's the deal. Kansas is minus Udaka Azubuike. Azubuike's out for the season. Now the $64,000 question was asked. Who do you think will take it? Will it be Kansas or will it be somebody out of the pack that wins the Big 12 this year? There's a lot to digest. But I'm going to be honest with you. I'm going to be quite honest with you. I think it could be somebody out of the pack that wins the Big 12 now. Because the bottom line is, Kansas did not play very un-Kansas-like today. I mean, yes, they did shoot 11-13 from the free throw line for 84.6%. They could have done better. But the problem that I have is the three-point shooting. All these teams think they have to live and die by the three. They don't. When I come to my closing thoughts, I'm going to talk about that a little bit more. So stay tuned for that. But West Virginia, congratulations. You upset number 7 Kansas. You knocked off the top dog in the Big 12. This was like a David and Goliath battle. West Virginia was the David today. And they got the job done. And that's all I can say about that here this evening. Now, the other big upset of the day, Wisconsin knocking off number 2 Michigan. Even half for Wisconsin. That's all they basically needed. 26 points, 10 rebounds, 7 assists. And for Michigan, Jordan Poole, 14 points, 3 rebounds, 3 assists. Xavier Simpson, 11 points, 10 rebounds, a double-double for him in a losing effort. John Teske, 15.7 rebounds. Adakis Brazdeikis, who's their leading scorer for Michigan, didn't have a single bucket today. He had a goose egg in the game today. He didn't score at all. He went 0 for 5 from the field, and John Beilein pulled him out of the game. But let's think about this for a minute. I've looked at the numbers for this game. Michigan, 26 of 58 from the field, 44.8%. From three-point land, they went 5 of 13 for 38.5%. There weren't very many free throw tries. Wisconsin did go 7 of 9 at the free throw line for 77.8%. Yes, Michigan out-rebounded Wisconsin 34-32, but Wisconsin out-assisted them 17-11. But Michigan had 16 turnovers that cost them dearly. Now, Michigan, they did go 22 of 54 from the field. That's only 40.7%. Michigan only went 5 of 18 from three-point land. That's only 27.8%. And at the free throw line, they were bad. They only had 11 free throws, only nailed 5 of them. That's only 45.5%. And 16 turnovers cost them dearly. Michigan coach John Beilein was screaming like a girl. John Beilein should have took a course in Bobby Knight Foul Methodology 101. And I would have been in the locker room screaming and cussing. I shouldn't sound like that. I'm sorry. I'm trying to be a polite guy, but sometimes you got to do what you got to do. In all honesty right now, John Beilein's got to be sick to his stomach about this. I mean, 5 of 18 from three-point land, 27.8%. 5 of 11 at the free throw line, 45.5%. 16 turnovers. That's the main thing right there. That got my attention. And I'm going to tell you now, the bottom line is Michigan's got a bad loss to Wisconsin. And Wisconsin doesn't realize this yet, but they may have thrown the Big Ten race into a tailspin. Now, Michigan and Michigan State are still sitting at the top of the Big Ten. Purdue got a big win today over Indiana. And you know about Maryland beating Ohio State the other night. I don't know about Iowa yet. I think they play tomorrow. But the thing is, the Big Ten race has just gotten a little bit more crazy. And Wisconsin may have just found a way to at least get themselves back into the battle for a Big Ten in a great spot for the Big Ten tournament coming up here in a couple of months. This is a huge win for the Wisconsin Badgers. It was a combination of great basketball by Wisconsin and some bad play by Michigan. John Beilein was scratching his head after this game, and I don't blame him. Now, those are the two big upsets today. We almost had a third upset this afternoon. Tennessee escapes over Alabama 71-68. Here's what happened in that game. Grant Williams, 21 points. He fouled out with about 11 seconds left. Emerald Schofield, 12 points, 11 rebounds, 4 assists, a double-double for him today. Jordan Bone, 10 points, 2 rebounds, 7 assists. Jordan Bowden, he had to come off the bench with 12 big points, 4 rebounds, 4 assists. Now, Alabama, John Petty, 30 points today. Dante Hall, 16 points, 12 rebounds. Kara Lewis Jr., 12 points, 2 rebounds today. It was a travel at the end of the game that cost Alabama a shot at the victory. Alabama came back. Tennessee had a double-digit lead, and then they let it slip away. However, a travel at the end cost Alabama, unfortunately. But I'm going to tell you something. Alabama really played well, and I'll give them credit for that. But for Tennessee, 28 of 64 from the field, 43.8%. Alabama stayed with them, 25 of 59, 42.4%. Three-point shooting. Tennessee, 3 of 12, 25%. That was it for them. But they did really make up for it by going 12 of 16 at the free throw line for 75%. Now, from three-point land, Alabama shot very well. 10 of 26 for 38.5%. But at the free throw line, not much to brag about. 5 of 18 for 44.4%. Alabama out-rebounded Tennessee 41-36. An assist, Tennessee took that 16-13. 13 turnovers by Alabama really killed them today. Tennessee only had 9. So now, here's the $64,000 question. Who's going to be number 1 when the new polls come out on Monday? Will it be Tennessee or will it be Gonzaga? Well, that question will have to be answered somewhere down the road. But I'm going to be totally honest with you. Tennessee got the job done today. And the bottom line is, Grant Williams, despite fouling out of the game, he's one of the favorites for the Wooden Award, along with Emerald Schofield. I got those two down. If you go outside of Duke and R.J. Barrett and Zion Williamson, and I'm going to be talking about them here in a little while, here in a little bit. But to begin with, if I had to go outside of Duke, Grant Williams and Emerald Schofield would be my Wooden Award winners this year. One of those two would definitely win it. Bottom line. And I will give Alabama credit. They came back down double digits to come back and make a game of it. But Tennessee, they tried to get pretty with it. You can't do that. They were lucky to win today. And that's all there was to it. Will they be number 1 or will it be Gonzaga? We'll have to wait and see on that. Okay. Now, let's go to the ACC. Now, we've been from the Big 10 to the Big 12 to the SEC. Now it's time to go to the ACC. NC State, Notre Dame. This game was a battle. But NC State did come out on top 77-73 at the end of the game. Now the big question is, what will happen to NC State? Are they still a contender for the ACC crown? I say yes. And you'll find out why here in a little bit. First for NC State, C.J. Bryce came off the bench, 23 points, 5 rebounds, 3 assists. Devon Daniels, 15.6 rebounds. Torin Dorn, 13 points, 9 rebounds today. DJ Funderburg, 11.6 rebounds, 2 assists today in this ball game. This was a big win for NC State for every good reason, and you'll find out here in a second. But first for Notre Dame, John Mooney, 19 points, 16 rebounds. A double-double and a losing effort. I hate that. Dane Goodwin, 19 points, 4 rebounds, 3 assists. TJ Gibbs actually played today because, he was out with an illness. I had him down as a question mark last night. 13 points, 3 rebounds, 5 assists. DJ Harvey, 10 points, 5 rebounds. That was it for him. Now, how in the world did NC State win this game? There weren't very many turnovers. Notre Dame only had 9 turnovers to NC State 7. But the shooting from the field and from three-point land may have decided this ball game. NC State, 30 of 69 from the field for the game, 43.5%. From three-point land, Notre Dame, 7 of 28 for 25% from 3 from beyond the arc. NC State only shot 7 of 19 for 36.8%. Dude, all these teams have to live and die by the 3, and I'm going to address that here. From the free throw line, Notre Dame was a very impressive 18 to 24 for 75%. NC State only shot 10 to 15 for 66.7%. Both teams had 15 assists today. 9 turnovers might have hurt Notre Dame a little bit, but the one thing that stuck out for me for NC State, they out-rebounded Notre Dame 43-38. But I'm going to be honest with you. NC State may have just got themselves right back into the ACC race. With Virginia losing tonight, and I'll get to that here in a few minutes. Virginia losing, and now Virginia Tech, they're tied. Now, all of a sudden, do we need to be thinking about North Carolina, NC State? Those could be the 4 teams that go at it for the ACC crown. But I'm going to tell you something. This was a huge win today. And with Syracuse beating Pitt earlier, I didn't write the numbers down for that game because there were just too many close games. There were a couple of big upsets. I just wouldn't have the time to get to Syracuse at all. Syracuse did beat Pitt today. I will have that. I forgot to write those down. I do apologize for that. But NC State and Syracuse may have just got themselves right into the middle of a very crowded ACC race. It's not over yet. But I'm going to tell you something. NC State, this is a huge win. And this is a win they needed badly. And everybody knows it. All right. Now, let's go back to the Southeast Conference, the SEC. number 12 Kentucky, and number 14 Auburn. This was an instant classic for all of the right reasons. Kentucky came out on top 82-80, but a missed bucket by Auburn cost them, and it really hurt. But for Kentucky, they got the job done barely. Keldon Johnson, 20 points, 3 rebounds. Tyler Hero, 20 points, 3 rebounds, 4 assists. Reed Travis, 17.7 rebounds. P.J. Washington, 13.7 rebounds, 2 assists. Kentucky got the win today. Bryce Brown, 28 points, 3 assists. Jared Harper, 17.6 assists. Shuma Okiki, 11 points, 6 rebounds, 2 assists. Malik Dunbar, 10.7 rebounds. What decided this game? It was more than a missed basket. I dug into the numbers, and you'll see what I mean here in a second. Kentucky from the field, 26 of 48, 54 points. They shot 54.2% from the field tonight. Kentucky went 6 of 15 from three-point land for 40%. At the free throw line, 24 of 33, 72.7%. That was very impressive. But the most important thing was Kentucky out-rebounded Auburn 33-26. Now, Auburn did out-assist them 17-14. As far as turnovers go, Kentucky did have 13 turnovers. That were kind of hurt them a little bit. There were 2 technical fouls for the illegal arm bar that I saw in the first half. There were technical fouls against, I think, Bruce Pearl. You know how Bruce Pearl was when he was at Tennessee, how animated he can get. But there were 2 technical fouls administered in the game. But the bottom line is, Kentucky got the job done. And for as far as Auburn goes, they didn't do too bad either. 26 of 56 from the field, 46.4%. Now, from three-point land, 13 of 30 for 43.3%. They shot better from three-point land. They were just training them. But it was a missed layup at the end that hurt them. From the free throw line, they shot 15 of 20 for 75%. They did out-assist Kentucky 17-14, but despite getting out-rebounded 33-26, they still lost it. Now, the shape of the SEC race has just gotten more interesting. Bryce Brown, Jared Harper, Shuma Okiki, and Malik Dunbar, they did their part. But Kentucky, despite 13 turnovers, they won the ball game. And it was not pretty at all. But I'm going to say this right now. The SEC race has just gotten a little bit more interesting. I think it's going to come down to Tennessee and Kentucky for the SEC regular season crown. I really got a feeling about that. All right. Last but not least, the last game I want to talk about. Number 4 Virginia, number 1 Duke. You know, at the start of the day, I said there were 2 teams undefeated after Michigan went down, and then there was one. And now Duke beat Virginia tonight 72-70, and now there are none. Here's what happened tonight. Duke beat Virginia 72-70 in an old-fashioned Duke-Virginia contest. Now, Virginia shot better from the field barely. 25 of 53, 52.8%. Actually, wait a minute. That's right. Actually, it's 28 for 53 for 52. No, it is 25 for 53 for 52.8%. Very impressive. Now, the three-point shooting for both teams was pathetic. A combined 5 for 31 for three-point land between the two of them. Virginia, 3 and 17 from three-point land, 17.6%. Ouch. At the free throw line, Virginia, 11 of 17 at the free throw line for 64.7%. Now let's talk about Duke for a second. 26 of 51 for 51%. From three-point land, they were pathetic. 2 of 14 for 14.3%. And at the free throw line, Duke was only 18 of 31 for 58. They were only 18 of 31 for 58.1%. Not very good. Duke barely out-rebounded Virginia 32-30 tonight. Virginia took the assist battle 8-6. Both teams only had 8 turnovers. But what won the game? Let's see. R.J. Barrett, 30 points, 5 rebounds, 3 assists. Zion Williamson, 27 points, 9 rebounds. Mr. Slammin' home, he had more slam dunks tonight than I've ever seen before. But for Virginia, DeAndre Hunter, 18 points, 4 rebounds. Kyle Guy, 14.6 rebounds for Virginia tonight. Ty Jerome, 14 points, 4 rebounds, 4 assists. Braxton Key, 11.6 rebounds, 2 assists tonight. Let's say this. The three-point shooting was awful. The free throw line, not very good. But from the field, both teams were fantastic tonight. And on the floor, Duke out-rebounded Virginia barely 32-30. Tony Bennett, Duke coach Mike Krzyzewski and Virginia coach Tony Bennett said, this is going to be a battle. We're going to battle all the way to the end tonight. And they did. With Duke barely taking it 72-70. What a Saturday it was in college basketball. And let's think about it for a minute. This was a classic all the way to the end. If somebody would have... Now, before I hand out my Scott Manning Basketball Hardwood Awards, I want to share something real quick. I know it's out of my character. This was originally going to be part of my closing thoughts, but I've changed my mind. During the Kentucky-Auburn game tonight, former NBA legend Charles Barkley, a former Auburn grad, a former Auburn player at Auburn, made a very interesting synopsis and made a very interesting point, and I'm going to share it with you. He says the NBA is going downhill. He's got, you see, your big guys living and dying by the three. Whatever happened to the old-fashioned NBA? Whatever happened to the old days of going inside, trying to take it to the hoop? You know what the NBA needs to do for a couple of games? I say take out the three-point line and make some of these newer players play old school. Play the old school. Play it how it used to be done the old-fashioned way. Take out the three-point line and make them drive it to the hoop. And you know something? I wish Commissioner Adam Silver would listen to me on this one. I really do. Because you're seeing big guys nowadays living and dying by the three. You need to stop doing that. Now, I know some of you guys are saying, oh, the rules don't permit it. Come on. You got to go inside and put your body on the line. That's what Naismith came up with. And when he designed the rules for the game, he said you got to take it inside, you got to go all the way with it. I'm sure that whoever invented the game is probably turned over in his grave thinking, what in the world's been going on? Nowadays, you got Commissioner Adam Silver saying, live and die by the three. Now the NCAA's come up with a rule over the armbar. That you can't armbar anybody, you're going to get a flagrant one. That they're trying to eliminate that, and I can understand that. But you need to understand something. You can't live and die by the three. And it's shown tonight. I mean, in the Michigan-Wisconsin game, 5 of 18 for Michigan, 27.8%. 5 of 13 for Wisconsin, 38.5%. Now, some of these other games that I thought about. West Virginia in their victory, 5 of 14 for 35.5%. Tennessee, only 3 of 12 for 25% from three-point land. And I mean, you got Notre Dame in their loss, 25% when they lost to NC State today. 6 of 15 for Kentucky for 40% in their victory tonight over Auburn. Auburn was the best of the bunch. 13 of 30 for 43.3%. You guys need to understand something. You cannot live and die by the three. It doesn't matter who you are. You can be one of the best three-point shooters in the world. You can't live and die by the three, though. It does not work. And I wish the NBA would understand that. And Charles Barkley, I know you are jerking. I know you said, I'm not a role model. I have not forgotten that. And he wasn't a role model. But I will say this, though. At least Charles Barkley gets it. He's pretty much quit watching the NBA. He wants to start talking more about the college game. He was at the Auburn-Kentucky game tonight. He was there. And he actually sat next to Bob Wischusen and Dick Vitale, and they talked about what's been going on in the NBA for a few minutes. And I mean, Charles Barkley even took time out to talk about what Kentucky was doing wrong in the game. I mean, Kentucky went into this game today, again, with Auburn, all jacked up. And it almost cost him in the end. But just some thoughts I wanted to share with you. I wanted to share those thoughts because I want everybody to understand that nowadays in the NBA, everybody is living and dying by the three. It does not work. And I've thought about that too throughout this day. And I'm looking at the numbers. Some of these Some of these numbers from three-point land from all these games today that I watched, I mean, you got to be kidding me. Okay, enough talk about that. It's time to hand out some Scott Manning Basketball Hardwood Awards. All right, I'm only going to hand out one award for the Wisconsin-Michigan game. Ethan Happ, 26 points, 10 rebounds, 7 assists. Congratulations to you, sir. You just got yourself a Scott Manning Basketball Hardwood Award. For the West Virginia-Kansas contest, I got 3 awards to hand out. And all of them go right to West Virginia. Jermaine Haley, 13 points, 5 rebounds, 2 assists. Congratulations to you, sir. You are now a first-time recipient of the Scott Manning Basketball Hardwood Award. James Bolden, 12 points, 2 assists. Congratulations to you, sir. You're now a first-time recipient of the Scott Manning Basketball Hardwood Award. Derek Culver, 11 points, 7 rebounds, 3 assists. Congratulations to you, sir. You are now a first-time recipient of the Scott Manning Basketball Hardwood Award. For the Tennessee-Alabama contest, John Petty, I'm going to give you an award. I'm going to give you a Scott Manning Basketball Hardwood Award for 30 points in that game, for coming off the bench and scoring 30. I'm going to give you a special award. How's that sound, to be fair? Now, I'm going to hand out 4 awards for Tennessee. Grant Williams, 21 points despite fouling out of the game. I'm going to give you a Scott Manning Basketball Hardwood Award. Emerald Schofield, 12 points, 11 rebounds, 4 assists, a double-double for him today. Congratulations to you, sir. You just got yourself a Scott Manning Basketball Hardwood Award. Jordan Bone, 10 points, 2 rebounds, 7 assists. And Jordan Baldwin, 12 points, 4 rebounds, 4 assists. Congratulations to you two gentlemen. The both of you gentlemen have just received a Scott Manning Basketball Hardwood Award. Now, for the NC State Notre Dame contest, I got 4 awards to hand out. C.J. Bryce, 23 points, 5 rebounds, 3 assists. Devon Daniels, 15.6 rebounds. Torin Dorn, 13 points, 9 rebounds. DJ Funderburk, 11.6 rebounds, 2 assists. Congratulations to the 4 of you gentlemen. The 4 of you gentlemen have just received a Scott Manning Basketball Hardwood Award. For the Kentucky-Auburn contest, there's 4 awards I need to hand out. Keldon Johnson, 20 points, 3 rebounds. Tyler Hero, 20 points, 3 rebounds, 4 assists. Reed Travis, 17.7 rebounds, and P.J. Washington, 13.7 rebounds, 2 assists. Congratulations to the 4 of you gentlemen. You 4 gentlemen are now recipients of a Scott Manning Basketball Hardwood Award. For the Duke Virginia contest, I got 2 awards to hand out. R.J. Barrett, 30 points, 5 rebounds, 3 assists. Zion Williamson, 27 points, 9 rebounds. Congratulations to you 2 gentlemen. You 2 gentlemen have just received a Scott Manning Basketball Hardwood Award. All right, that's all the games today, and that's all the Hardwood Awards I'm handing out. And now, ladies and gentlemen, it is now time for my closing thoughts on this night. It was a crazy Saturday. When we started the day, we had 2 unbeaten teams. We now have none. We have no undefeated teams left in the country. Wisconsin upset Michigan today, and they got the victory. And this is a big-time win. And congratulations to Wisconsin for upsetting Michigan today, and they got the job done. What about Kansas? What about West Virginia upsetting Kansas? West Virginia got their first win of the season. They got the job done, and the bottom line is, and this was a huge, huge victory tonight this was a huge victory today for West Virginia. Their first win of the season, and they knock off the top dog in the Big 12. They knock off Kansas. The Big 12 race has all of a sudden been thrown into a tailspin. Could we be talking about Texas Tech or Iowa State winning the Big 12 crown? Is it going to be somebody out of the pack this year? As you know, Udaka Azubuike is hurt. He's gone for the season. And now, the question is, who's next? You know we have no undefeated teams left. You know Duke's going to drop. They're not going to be number 1 when the new polls come out on Monday after losing to Syracuse last Monday night. Michigan went down today. Will it be Tennessee being number one? Virginia lost to Duke tonight. Will Tennessee be the new number one team in the country, or will it be Gonzaga? There's some questions there that need to be answered, but I think it will be Tennessee, and here's why. They got the best team right now in the SEC. I think Tennessee will be number one. Now, despite they had to squeak by against Alabama, there's a lot to think about there. Numbers 1, 2, and 4 in the country went down this week. Duke went down last Monday night to Syracuse, 95-91 at Cameron Indoor. Michigan went down today. Duke beat Virginia. There are no unbeaten teams left. But what about Kansas? They're going to be out of the top 10 after losing to West Virginia. West Virginia got their first win of the season, their first win in Big 12 play. You talk about a David and Goliath there. We had a David and Goliath game today. But what about that instant classic What about that instant classic between Kentucky and Auburn? There's been a lot of questions there, but I will say this though. The job got done. There's no doubt in my mind we're going to have a new number one in the country by the time when the week rolls around. And I'm going to say this now. The job got done. It was not pretty, but Kentucky did beat Auburn tonight. But what about that instant classic between Duke and Virginia? A typical battle at the end. Duke comes out on top, but they will not be number one when the new polls come out on Monday. I can guarantee you that. But what a week it was. I mean, you stop and think about it. We started it out with Syracuse upsetting Duke last Monday night, and it just went from there. Maryland has proved, and also too, Maryland has proved they belong in the Big Ten race. They proved that to me on Friday. But today was the most crazy day, one of the craziest Saturday in all of college basketball. You thought my first show was crazy with all the non-conference hoopla? You're seeing why. Why I love the sport of college basketball. This is where all the action's at. This is where all the money is made. Yes, in the NBA, you got all these pro players and these big contracts. And I talked about it a few minutes ago. And I'm going to say this to everybody. To all of the players in the high school ranks, in high school basketball, college, and the high school, college, and professional ranks, I got one bit of advice for you. Stop living and dying by the three. That's what I can't stand. You got all these players who think they have to live and die by the three ball. You don't have to do that. But I'm seeing it all the time. And Charles Barkley's right. There's got to be some changes made. And that's all there is to it. And the bottom line is, it was a crazy Saturday. And I'm not going to go any further tonight because I'm beat. And that's all I got to say about that. All right, folks, I'm going to go ahead and get on out of here. I want to thank you guys so much for being with me here on this late Saturday night. You guys have a great night. I'll be back next Friday night at 11 o'clock p.m. Eastern Time for the Scott Manning YouTube College Basketball Podcast Show. If I do need to do a couple quick snip videos during the week, I will do those. Please watch out for those of this week. And I want to thank you guys for tuning in tonight. You guys have a great night. Thank you so much for being with me, and God bless. Good night, everybody, and thank you.